Dave here. How are you? Today is the 24th of June and it's 11 o'clock Australian Eastern Standard Time. Okay, wow, it's still cold here. I've been reading some of the comments down the side here and I've been seeing that it's very warm in the Northern Hemisphere, especially for you, Peter Woolworth. 101 degrees Fahrenheit in the workshop at 6 p.m. If you can give me a shout and let me know whether or not we're streaming okay, that'd be great. Don't need everyone to do it, and if we can have a look at some numbers and see if anyone's doing this thing, that'd be also great. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? As I say, I'm still just watching up there, and while that's happening, I will read through it a little bit. Looks like it's streaming. 104 in Sacramento. Wow, that's pretty hot, John. All good, thank you. All right, well, I'll get into it. Again, I'm trying to mix it up a little bit. Today we're going to do a little bit of sharpening for my chisels, not because I haven't shown you before, it's just because they need it, and I really don't get time to do this kind of stuff for myself, so you guys are going to have to put up with me going through the sharpening process a bit. This will all be by hand. Sharpening also will bring me on to the other subject of looking good, sounds great, excellent. The other thing is sharpening using a Tormek style slow speed whetstone grinder, like it's just a 90 RPM machine, giving a hollow ground, or thinking about the Robert Sorby Pro Edge. Now, a lot of you will know that I have been touring a couple of days with Chris Pouncey from Robert Sorby, who's been a guest of Carbitex. He's been over here promoting Robert Sorby's products. And one of the things was this linisher, this Pro Edge linisher. And I've been thinking about this machine for years and years and years. And I'm curious as to your feedback as to what you think will deliver the easiest, fastest edge. Now, we'll go into that in a little bit more detail further down the track, but you guys can chat about it between yourselves in the meantime if you wish. Also, I'm going to have a chat about my table saw and the advantages of a left-hand tilt versus a right-hand tilt. Now, just about all table saws these days are a left-hand tilt. There were many, many, many that the blade tilted over to the right-hand side. So I'll go through that, and I've also got an assortment of blades out there, so we can have a look through those as well, and the different purposes, and I have a dado stack on there. And you may also realize that I've been chatting on Facebook on the Dave Stanton livestream page. By all means, jump in there to apply to join us. And I'm pretty hard on the scrutiny. If you don't know the color of my shirt or the name of my dog, which is Barry, if you don't know that, I don't let you in. Obviously, you just bang, 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 I'll enter this group, this group, this group, this group. I want to make sure that everyone is, it's a really good group. I'm very happy that it's that way, and I don't want to muck it up at all by some bad elements. Now, I'm sure you're not a bad element. You're probably a very good element. Reminds me of a joke about the good conductor and the bad conductor who used to eat bananas, not big bananas, not small bananas, but a medium-sized banana. I won't go into that. So the table saw and also the inserts that I've built for it. So there's a whole heap of stuff there that we can go through. Next thing, and that'll be coming up. That'll be the first thing I do. Huge prizes coming up. That's right. The UJK Parf guide system, which is this fellow here. What sort of maintenance do you do on in the saw cabinet? I may get to that, I don't know. So this is the GRS, I'm getting all my initials mixed up. Does that tick you off if everything's initialed? This is a UJK Parf guide system. At least Peter had the decency to call it a Parf guide system. I think that's because his name was in it. But I don't know what UJK stands for. Can you fill me in on that? And also the bits and pieces that come with it. And two super dogs, they'll be there. And also, I did mention last week that I try and get Axminster tools to throw in the chamfer tool as well, and they have. How nice is that? So that's great that there's someone is the winner, and I will announce their name a little bit later on in the show. And we had literally hundreds of applications to this giveaway. Now, you'll notice also down in the description box where it says show more, click that show more button and it'll open everything up below it, and you slide down through there and you'll see the link to the TSO products, more initials, TSO products GRS16 that we're going to be giving away this week as well. So not today, we will start the competition today, it's already live. You can enter as many times as you want, once a day, and we will draw the winner midnight on Saturday night. So sometimes the competition shuts itself off at midnight Australian time or Eastern Standard Time, and then I just say, pick a winner for me, and it does. And hey presto, that's what I did this morning. Lucky person. You can't wait, can you? Talking about TSO and UJK and Parf dogs, and you know John Lafferty with his dogs that he makes up on his 3D printer. He's having a ball doing that. He's rushed off to hospital this morning, so emergency department. So I am thinking about him. You know, if you're a person who believes in prayer, helps people along, please do it. John is not a very well man, and he came on the show a little while back, and any help is greatly appreciated. So thank you for that. All right, what do we got? Okay, I'm going to quickly have a quick read of this. Pick me, Dave. Excited about the winner of the UJK Parf Guide. Good morning, Bob Macca. And Hilton Bond, I'm thinking about getting a Tormek. I currently use a bench grinder with aluminium oxide. Do a pretty good job. I use a diamond card hone to touch up the edge when needed. Thanks for that, Hilton. As I say, just keep on chatting in the box there beside with each other. And yeah, you know, again, with John, poor bugger, life hasn't dealt him a very nice set of cards, and he's trying to get by, and hopefully he'll pull through this one. What's the next thing? Next thing. Okay, the prizes, that's right, GRS. And then the week after, it doesn't stop just there. The week after, Jessem in Canada have also I've got in touch with these people on your behalf, and Jessem have said, yes, we'd love to give away a pair of clear-cut stock guides for your router table. So one pair, and these are all international competitions. That'll be in the following week. So keep on coming back. It's really well worthwhile. What's the next thing? Stuart Cotterill's new outfeed table. Now, Stuart is not one to do things by halves. He's just gone crazy, and I've got a little kind of slideshow that I'm going to try and read through and keep up with it, because he also likes to send me epics as far as the Microsoft Word document that I received. Live sharpen up some old chisels, discuss pros and cons of the Sorby Edge linisher and the Tormek slow speed waterstone. Patreon, check out the rewards I'm offering, early bird tickets. Now Patreon is something that is really helping me. You noticed a couple of weeks ago I got a heap of stuff done. The videos started coming out with the lights. Video came out with the garage door yesterday morning. That's all stuff I took a week off work to do that. And man, oh man, didn't that make a difference. I was punching out product like you wouldn't believe. I'm back at work now, so everything is slowed down again. I'm trying to get this mystery machine out there built, but it's taking forever because I can't do it, you know, during the day because I'm at work. So if you can support me with Patreon, it means I don't have to spend as much time away from here, and I can get more product out for you. So give it a thought, and you know, it's a huge help if you can. I'm trying to do things from mine, get out products and send out giveaways, and it's always nice if you give to get a little bit back. So that's my beggar's cap at the moment. Next thing. Hornsby Men's Shed visit. As I said, with the Robert Sorby tour, I zapped up there for one of the days there, and I live broadcast a couple of times from there, and that was so good. I understand that the quality of the video isn't going to be great, but it is what it is. And Chris went through the different ways of sharpening. He went through different techniques with turning a bowl, and you should get in touch. If you can see the tour is coming through Australia somewhere or anywhere in the world, jump on it. He's a very, very knowledgeable man. If you feed me, Dave, I come and help. Okay. Oh dear. Okay, just let you know how. Look, if you want to help, look, I'm going to answer this question straight away. There's a thing called PayPal Me, and there's also a thing called Patreon. If you go to my Patreon site, there's a link down the bottom in the description box. Click on that, and there's a way that you can support me. It starts from $1, goes up to $25. That's a month. $1 a month. You know, $2 a month if you want to. Cup of coffee. That's great. And as I say, PayPal Me. If you don't want to go through Patreon, you say, Dave, look, I want to flick you something. Great. We can do it that way as well. Whatever you want to do. And I'm only saying that because I've just had a couple of comments up there in the text, in the sliding comments there. Bob Macca breathes new life into his MFT3 on his top and also underneath. He's done a very interesting thing. Aftermarket batteries. Vanon have supplied me a couple to try out. Now, I have a couple of old DeWalt machines here, and they have DeWalt batteries. That one is a lithium ion. Now, I haven't found any aftermarket lithium ion batteries that go on this. I have seen the adapter that DeWalt make to slide into this, and then you can put their new batteries on. Very bulky, and it hasn't really passed the tests, can I say that, in Australia yet. So it's not available yet in Australia via DeWalt. You may be able to buy it via eBay and just run it that way. But Vanon have come out with these 3 amp hour NiCads or nickel metal hydrides. I'm not sure which one it is, but it'll tell me on the battery, and I'll go over and grab one of those batteries in a little while. If there's none here, I'm having a quick look around behind me. What have we got? I have got one. There we go. It's on this particular one. Now, I know this isn't what I was going to be talking about right at the beginning, but see how easy they come out. Now, that's always been a gripe with me with the standard batteries, that they would stick, and you know, if you go and squeeze, I'm sure I'm not the only person that's done that. So let's have a quick look here. 18 volt, 3000 milliamp hours, NiCad, N-I-C-D. So I'll bring it up closer to the screen so you can see it. That's what it says on the bottom. And so far, so good. They've been going very well. They do the job for me. I don't know what the price comparison is because, as I said, Vanon got in touch with me and said, Dave, are you interested in trying a couple of our batteries? And I said, look, I've got older machines. Of course I am. They've also got batteries. I think they've got batteries for my old Hitachi, and I think they've got batteries for my Pasload impulse nail gun. So that's basically the battery that fires the charge to ignite the gas to fire the... It sounds like there was an old lady who swallowed a fly and ended up swallowing a spider, and down inside her... Oh. The things we used to sing as kids. Anyway, I'll pop that back, and I put new batteries in my on-air light here, so I hope I'm not getting any complaints. We know you can handle it. Okay. Any help we can give, let us know. Do we need to behave? Yes, please. I can only hold the whip of the chair, not both. We know you can handle it. Okay, with a little help from my friends. Matthew, don't say that, Sue. 3 weeks from the classroom. Carl, there's a whole lot of things in there. Yes. I didn't know adapters exist. Well, there you go, John. Straight away, you've picked something up from the show. And I know you're a supporter of the show, which is fantastic. Last one is Grahame Ormesher's handy stool for his mother-in-law. I've got some other things there as well. And the patrons, I haven't read the patrons' names out. They are at the bottom, so I'll read those guys out now. These guys are helping me big time. This is fantastic. Roger DeBolt, Johannes Moa, who hasn't been well as well. He's been over to pick his son up, and either he slipped a disc or he's had a previous injury and it's not going well, so hopefully he's going to come good. John Wilson, John Parra, as I was just saying there, Vincent Niang, Louis Uberg, and Raymond Tott. All of those people, thank you so much for supporting the show. Let's get into it. Let's go over to the table saw, and I'll switch cameras if I can. Here we go. Transitioning now. Alrighty. Here we go. Now, in here at the moment, I'll just see if you can see me all right. In here at the moment, I have my dado stack. Now, I've been making all of my inserts since I came across a dado stack. And you'll notice lately that I've been complaining a little bit about my stack because the outside cutters have a cutting shape like that. So the bottom of any trench that I make will be like inside here. I don't know if you'll be able to see this. I'll bring it up close because that was actually formed with this. I'll put my hand around the back so I can't see anything else. I'm looking over the top of a rack and all sorts of kind of things. Now you might see there's some sharp points on the sides. Now that's the thing, I'm trying to find a dado stack that will not leave those little sharp points. Now I know they're there for a reason, and that is to cut the fibres. So as it's cutting through, we get a very, very crisp edge. But I would like to have, and I know that a lot of guys, when they do this, they use a face frame to cover that, so you don't actually see that section there. But a lot of people that I know also, when they're cutting a dado, they like to have the bottom dead flat and the sides nice and sharp so that that joint can be exposed. So at the end of the joint, say it's down there, what they see at the end is just really nice. Now I should really put a couple of batteries in here where the supporting lugs are. I have done on this particular insert, and I've used to have, when I made this one, I made it so that a domino used to slide into there to stop any movement. But I think a better system would be, I've got a battery there that lines up down there with that support, but there's another lug right here. I might put a battery in here that holds it onto that lug, and then that would go in there absolutely beautifully. Now at the moment, I'm going to take the stack out, so I'll raise the stack up to there and get, with mine I can rotate, and there's a pin that pushes in. There it is, that's locked it. You know, everyone's saw is going to be slightly different. And normally you go for something that's a 2-inch less diameter for your saw if you're going to use a stack. So mine is a 10-inch saw, 10-inch blade, and this is an 8-inch stack. If you've got a smaller saw, like if you've got a smaller saw which may be an 8-inch diameter blade, then I'd suggest you use a 6-inch stack. If you've got a 12, you probably won't be able to get anything. I think concentrating while I'm taking the blades off. Now I put them down on the polyurethane there on the side panels so it doesn't damage them at all. If you're using, and this is a 5/8 cent arbor on mine. If you're using a, these two should come off on their own, which they have. Okay, I'll pop those out of the way onto the set over there. Right, back onto the subject, David. If you're using a 12-inch saw, well then an 8-inch stack will be fine, and a 6-inch stack will be fine as well. The thing is, most saws, if they're built to, they're built so that the outside speed of the blade is consistent. So a 12-inch diameter saw will probably have a slower speed at the arbor, but the speed on the outside will be the same as a saw that's maybe got an 8-inch diameter blade, faster turning arbor, to make it still the same speed cut. There's an optimal speed for different products. Like if you're cutting plywood, you would want a saw turning at the correct speed, which I think is around 4,000 RPM. On my track saw, for instance, which is a 160mm blade, it turns at 5,200 RPM. See that? It turns faster to compensate for the smaller diameter blade, still to give you a nice clean finish. Now, what was I going to talk about here? That's right, I was talking about the magnets. So they lock into there, and as I say, that's fine, not going anywhere. But this one sounds drummy. That's good. That's because it's not anchored down by that magnet. And the finger hole in there is great. Let me just pull it out in one hit. I love these inserts. They are just so easy to make. And I'll have a look at the video I showed you on how to do it. The only downside with the plywood ones is that if you've got anti-kickback pawls pushing down, as you lower the blade assembly on the blade guard, they do start to dig in there. So you could, if you wanted to, but as you're making this, you could put that last section there, you could cover in laminate, or you could cover the whole thing in laminate before you put it down. And the laminate is hard enough for it to slide and not catch. But that's the only downside of these. I normally lock the anti-kickbacks up out of the way because, as I say, I'm using mine as a left-hand, well, it is a left-hand tilter, and I'm going to show you the advantages of that. Now I've got a whole heap of blades. Let's put the rip blade on because that's the next thing I'll be doing further down the track. And all of my blades, I think, come with a 30mm arbor, 30mm hole, and that's a 30 down to 5/8 reducer. Putting the blade on the right direction, cutting towards me, and then I can turn that, pop that in, put the flange on, and I don't know if you can see down there, I'm pointing to it, you may not see it. That arbor lets me know that it'll take a dado stack. Now in Europe, or I think maybe the UK only, you're not allowed to have a dado stack. I think you can have one in your own workshop, but if it's a commercial or a business, they're banned. Now I don't know why. Maybe it's more inertia that takes time to slow the blade down, and if the blade won't slow down in a certain time, well then it's illegal, I think. So if you can fill me in on that, that'd be great. Now I'm not going to put the guard on this because I'm not going to use it, but I'm going to show you what I mean regarding a left-hand tilting blade. I'll put the insert back on. How easy is that? And that could be there with the guard or not, it doesn't make any difference. Now I'm going to show you a couple of things. I rotate it there, I have to duck down under here to get her over the other side. And wasn't it fun making this insert, because I had to make it zero clearance right the way through, and it works. I'm looking down the top there and it's not being held up. I love it. All right, so my blade tilts to the left from the fence. Now I'm going to pretend that that this is a right-hand tilt, and I'm going to make it a kind of a pseudo right-hand tilter by bringing it to the other side. And you can see right there, there's a couple of problems with a blade that tilts towards this. Now I know that some companies make fences that slide out underneath so that you can push timber through, but my biggest gripe with a right-hand tilt, and I'll show you this, how are we doing there? Where are we up to? I'm going to draw a 45° on this with a bit of a black marker. And I'm going to explain why. Now, if I put, I'll do one at the other end as well. Actually, let's just do it all at this end. That'll make it a whole lot easier. Dave's waffling again. There. Okay, if I was to put this timber through like that, what is happening is I'm getting, and say this is the bottom of what I'm cutting, I'm trapping this piece of timber between the blade and the fence. So as it's going through, it's fine at the front because the blade is coming down through it, but at the back, the blade is rising up out of the table, and it's all of a sudden trapped in there. Now, timber has always got a little bit of energy in it. That's from, as it was growing, it was resisting all these forces from wind, you know, it favoured the sun to one direction, and then it was finally cut down and seasoned, and every time you cut it, you're changing the dynamics in that piece of timber. So it's not wanting to stay straight anymore. You'll find that after you've cut, how many times have you ripped some timber and you see it coming out of the saw and it's curling away like that? Well, as it's going through here, that's the same kind of thing. So it's getting trapped in there. If the back of that blade gets a hold of it, and you don't have a riving knife, for instance, and it gets a hold of it, it is going to fling it down there like a javelin and spear it into that battery charging station down the end of my workshop. I've had it happen to me when I was younger. I haven't had it happen to me for a long, long time. Now, the other thing is, if the blade is tipped over to the right and I'm pushing timber through, it's... How can I explain this one? If I'm doing a box with mitered corners, and let's put this back over here because it's going to be easier to explain. If the blade was tipped over here and I'm cutting my piece, let's say it's a wider piece, and I'm pushing it through, the blade is coming down through the back of the miter and tearing out on the face of the miter. Do you get that? Blade is coming down because that's how it's coming in. Now, with a left-hand tilt, you can see there's my mitre. That's the face of my mitre right there. Okay, so the blade is coming down through the face, giving me a nice clean cut on the top, and it will tear out on the back as the blade is coming through. So they're the two reasons why I like left-hand tilting blades. They're just a whole lot safer. You can see it there on that one. They're a whole lot safer and also give you a cleaner cut. All right. Do you want me to go through a couple of blades while I'm here? How's the time going? We're 25 past. I'm going to do a quick read. Dados, yes, a right-hand tilt is a pain in the backside. However, as Dave has just done, I have to switch sides with the fence. That is the other option. If you have a right-hand tilt blade, you can bring it over here. The only thing is, working khaki-handed, but that's working back to front, you may find that it feels a little bit awkward, and that can be dangerous. So it's best to stick with what you know how to do. All right, so that's a rip blade. It's a 24 tooth. I'll bring all of these guys down here so you can have a look at the assortment that I've got. Because when people buy a saw, they say, all right, well, and I want a blade with it. Like, I want fries with that. Well, mate, you need more than just one packet of fries. You need fries, apple pie. What else can I, at McDonald's can I tell you you need? The nuggets, everything. You need, if you want to have it so that everything is going really well and you geared up, you can buy a combination blade if you want to, and it's going to do things kind of okay. Okay, so that's a rip blade, and it is a 24 tooth, and I can tell it's a rip blade because it's got very, very deep gullets. That's behind, just in front of the tooth is what's called the gullet, and as the tooth is cutting through the timber, the waste timber is going into that gullet, and as the blade turns, remember it's turning at 4,000 RPM, it can get rid of that waste before it comes around to be presented against the timber again for its next bite. So this is happening on all 24 teeth, of course, as it's going through. Now, and also these are designed to be like chisels, so they're just dropping the grain out. They're not actually cutting, like slicing it. Now, if I was to go to, let's say, where are we? Industrial fine cutoff. Now this one, I'll put my glasses on, I think is an 80 tooth. Yes, so this is an 80 tooth blade, and this is for fine cross cutting. And it's just a whole series of alternating sections as per a crosscut saw, the hand saw. So the profile of the teeth, I don't know if you can see them there. So that's for cutting across. So if I was using my sled on the table saw, that's the blade I'd use. Next one. If I was using a sled with melamine, I would use my triple cut blade, or triple chip. So it's got 3 different teeth in series. So it's got a left hand, a right hand, and a chisel. A left-hand cut, a right-hand cut, and a chisel. Now that chisel also has the corners knocked off it, because it's not there designed to do the clean cut either side, like I was talking about with the dado stack. It's just a straight chisel with the corners knocked off, and I'll show you that one. And it's also an 80, I think. It gets hard to read these things. It is, yeah, it's an 80 as well. See, I don't know if you'll be able to see the difference on this, but if I bring that blade up nice and close, you might see how it's going. There's a flat one, there's a right-hand cut, and there's a left-hand cut. And then it goes back to the flat one. Sorry, right. No, there's the flat one, center, left, right. Yep, it's all over the place there. So it's interesting to have a look at these blades because, as I say, they make the different ones for different purposes. So that's the one I use for melamine and laminates. And then I've got the last one, which is for plexiglass and plastics. And this is one that I've only recently got because I had to cut some perspex. And it also is an 80 tooth. And it has left and right hand cutters again. But instead of the left-hand cut going all the way to a point, it stops shy of going out to that point and then drops back a little bit. It relieves the edge of the cut, so it doesn't destroy it. Now with plastics and all that kind of stuff, you need to make sure that you're not cutting too fast. If I was using my track saw, I'd turn the speed down on it. I can't turn the speed down on this, but I'll show you the tooth configuration on that one. See how we've got left, right, and then the teeth are also knocked off on the top. See this one here? The left-hand side of it has disappeared, and they alternate. Dink, 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 dink. But they're not a sharp point either side. That's designed for plastics. Okay, so I've got all of those in CMT, and then I have a couple of flay blades, and they're ones that if I'm doing stuff and I just need to put a whole lot of timber through, they're the ones that I use. Now this one, I can do this looks as though it's pretty aggressive. It's a combination blade, but I can rip with this, and I can do just, let's see what it says here. What's it say? You may be able to read that. There you go. Have a read of that. I can use this without taking the timber to the jointer. And that's a big claim. This does a beautiful cut. So a lot of the time you'll see in the videos I've just left that blade on and gone for it. And the other one, again, is it's another triple cut. Actually, it's slightly different to a triple cut, this one. This one has just got a chisel and then a center. Chisel, center, chisel, center. Now I got this one because I thought, I might be able to get some flat cuts, the flat bases with using this particular blade. And that one, I'll bring it up close so you can read the label on it. Where are we? You got to be able to read it there, haven't you? Anyway, they're the blades that I've got. So I just thought you might be interested to see. I've got another blade in there somewhere, I think, that I use for other things. But you can quite quickly run up a massive bill if you're not careful. So choose what you want to get a blade for. I guess what I'm saying is, if you get a table saw, you need to know what you're going to be cutting with it. Because when people ask me about what saw they want, I ask them, well, what are you going to do with it? And then the next thing I say, well, what kind of things are you going to be cutting? All round, well, then get a combination blade. But normally I say get a nice fine cut like my, the one that's the 80 tooth for doing cross grain, for that I use with a sled, and another one which is a rip blade 24 tooth, because then you're not going to labour your machine. So there you go. That shall do, I think, on the saw blades. And we're doing okay with time. It's 25 past. I'm going to have a bit of coffee and have a bit of a read. Yes, people have put a dado stack on a DeWalt saw. Jeremy Carter, I'm going to switch the cameras over to here. Jeremy Carter has a dado stack on his DeWalt saw. I think there's only one that you can do it with. And I don't know if DeWalt say do it, because as soon as you start putting a dado stack on a machine, you're asking more of it than just if it's a single blade, because you've got all of that mass that you're spinning, and it can be a bit of a headache. All right. You obviously don't have enough blades, Debbie. No. Lost Wits, do you have an Old Faithful for when you're not sure if there are nails or debris in the wood, so you can damage a good blade? Look, I don't have an Old Faithful blade, but I make sure that I test. I've got a metal detector that I run over the top of timber before I put it over the saw, that's if it's second-hand timber. If it's new timber, directly from a timber mill, no, I just put it straight over the machine with whichever blade I'm using for that particular job. Too few teeth in chop saw and drive dog goes. Okay. One combo blade and one dado stack. Paid too much for my saw, did you? Won't take a full width dado, just need to be careful. Yeah, I thought it'd take a 19mm on that particular saw you're mentioning there, Debbie. And it is also a right-hand tilt. Flat grind blades are hard to find for cutting dados. Exactly right. Nick Gibbons, hi Dave, good to be back watching the show after some time away in the UK, building a router table in the workshop today. Good on you, Nick, that's great. With that router table, maybe you'll be able to incorporate those little hold down clamps. They were tiny, weren't they? But, you know, they're cute. I'm sure you'll find an application for them. What was I going to move on to next? We're going to have a look at some viewers' projects. How are we doing for numbers, guys? I've got no idea, I can't see. And we got some thumbs up. If we have, that'd be great. Last week we had 130 people. That's insane. Never had those numbers before. I guess the giveaways kind of help, don't they? All right, so let's work through this progress. First person we're going to have a look at is Ray Jones. Now, Ray has sent in some pictures of his solar panels. Here they are. All right, so he's got a solar panel up beside his hot water service on his roof. And what he's done is pretty smart. And this is something I am considering doing myself. Because if it's a very overcast day, this is the other thing you can do. Have a look at this. This is inside his house. He's wired that directly to the panels. So I'll read it. Hi Dave, it's dark and gloomy day here today, 50 kilometres north of Melbourne, yet the solar panel still finds enough ergs to dimly light the LEDs. Not really usable light, yet interesting all the same. Cheers, Ray. I reckon that's a fantastic idea. What do you guys think? How smart is that? So as I say, he's just got this little panel. I'll flick to the other picture on his roof. And you can see how dark it is. I haven't edited that photo at all. And we'll go back to what it's like inside his house. I reckon that's a great idea. I might do something like that in the shed down here. Now, last week, the winner of that received the yellow box shed items, which was Mr. Lansett. Let me have a look here. Chris Lansett. He's sent me some pics in. He said, hey Dave, wonderful. I would like to have the starter pack sent to me in Sydney since I previously bought a whole bunch of yellow box shed dogs and brought them to Finland with me. Remember, this is the guy who doesn't like to see a winter. So he lives in Australia during summer, and then autumn he's off over to Finland and has spring and summer there, and then come up to autumn on the plane back home again. So this is left without any for my Stanton bench in Sydney. Please pass on to John my best regards and thanks. I've attached a couple of pics of the new bench here in Finland. I've yet to install the T-track. Let me go to the next picture so we're not bored looking at that one photo. And strips of non-slip T-track on the right dimensions was a bit difficult to find here, so I ordered it from Dieter Schmidt Fine Tools in Germany. Thanks for letting me know about the raffle and best regards to you and John. Right, that's pretty cool. I like that. It does look like a remote control skylight. Now the next one we've got is Bob Macca. Now Bob sent these things in to me. He's done a little bit of a reconditioning of his MFD3, so I'll read through it. G'day Dave, been busy lately, not been able to watch your Sunday live shows until after the event. Have been doing a few projects lately, so thought it's time to contribute. I decided my saw cut on my MFT was a little whacked, so decided to router a dado and filled it in with a piece of maple so I could start again. The laminated lengthways strip was to cover up a slight error. Now the table looks so good I don't want to cut anything on it. Crazy woodworkers, eh? The other shot, and I'll get the other shot up here for you, is showing a shelf sitting on the lower leg braces. Timber scrounged from an old cabinet someone left on the footpath. It's a bit like Matthias Wandel, isn't it? It's so handy to put the track saw out of the way after a cut and store bits and pieces, and it's removable so it can be packed away with the table when not in use. Thanks, Bob. What do you reckon about that? I love seeing what people do. It's great. It's a huge change to just what you're accustomed to in your own workshop. It's great to get input from outside and you say, you know what, I wouldn't mind doing that myself. So thanks, Bob. That's if anyone stuffs up a Stanton bench, they can put a laminate down the center, start again, just like you've done with yours, with your MFT3. Okay. Now, I also visited the Hornsby Men's shed, and I'm going to show you a picture inside their part of their workshop. Have a look at this. Now, this is 180 degrees panorama that I took up at the back end of their shop. So this is basically the back end. So if I was to turn around 180 degrees from where I took that photo and went the other way, you would see all the main machinery down the center. But it was a whole lot of chairs because they'd moved things out of the way for us. So what do you think about that? I love going to these sheds as well. It's so it's the same thing as like Bob Macca did with his MFT3, and you know it's really nice to be able to see all this input. Now the next one I've got here is, let me see if I've got all this correct. Yes. Ray Jones, Chris, Bob Macca. Next one is Grahame Ormesher. Now Grahame has made this stool, and I'll tell you the story about the stool as we're going through. And I'll get the second picture up ready so it doesn't take me forever. Graham's just sent me a message that mother-in-law rang last Tuesday in tears. Her arthritis had stopped her getting up the step from the garden back into the house. Can Grahame make me a step? If you can do it tonight, I'll pick it up tomorrow. How many times have you heard that? Oh, you'll just knock it up tonight. It'll be fine. I'll grab it in the morning. He says, I got home at 4 p.m. and set straight to it. 4 hours later, it was done, start to finish. Rang her and sent a picture, and she said, that's wonderful. Can you bring it over on the weekend? Now, hold on a second. Didn't she just ask whether or not he could have it ready for the next morning? Okay. So that gave him a chance to paint it and to get some rubber on the top to make it so she wouldn't slip over on it. And of course, before the rubber went on it, his puppy dog had to jump on and have a little bit of a test as well. But whatever they did, they couldn't really make their pup stay in the one spot. I've forgotten your dog's name again. Graham, sorry about that. And I said, look, we can't see the dog properly, so send me in another photo. So there she is. And she was the, what do they call it? The crash test dummy. Okay. Batteries, yes. Yeah, batteries for LED panels and for solar situations. I don't know if they're getting there yet. Maybe they should go over to the Tesla plants and see if they can see what's happening with their batteries, because they go pretty well. But I do know of a few people that are off-grid and they have battery storage and they say it works fine. I don't know how much it costs though. That would be the consideration. What's the next thing? Stuart Cotterill, and then we'll get into the chisel sharpening. Right, Stuart, oh now, I always laugh when I bring these things up. Now this is another page, nearly 2 pages that I have to read, so I'm going to have a drink first. And I was just doing a quick read there. I'm sure, look, you can read through all that stuff as we're going along, but we're going to get on to Stuart's. Now, what I've done is I've created a slideshow and it's going to run. Now, I didn't do too bad last week with Paul Mumford's property and his slideshow. So fingers crossed for me. Don't give me a hard time if I don't keep up with it. I think I've done it all right. So Stuart is someone who's looks after me quite well as far as the channel's concerned as well. Thank you so much, Stuart. And he's a very busy bee in the background. He's making things and he's been helping other people as well. So are we ready? Here we go. Dear Dave, this may be a little long-winded, but a little background may be useful. I finished helping my good friend Jack's workshop. The easel was done, and so it was back into my own workshop. Some time ago, I bought the SawStop outfeed table, but then surrounded it with cabinets that I rehabbed from Habitat for Humanity, where I volunteer. I topped it off with a melamine surface for both outfeed and assembly. However, walking on the top a few times to reach some things created a mismatch between them and the problems with the smooth takeoff from the saw. So over the months, I began thinking about the famous Stanton bench and Ron Polk top. This was nothing new to me after working with torsion box structures on large machines sales I had managed before retiring. I've caught up. Okay, here though is where I have to give a shout out for Tom Carswell, owner of Tar Heel Filing Co. in Rayleigh, NC, and a truly great guy. I had found him on the web making custom MFT tables and tops, so a few calls and CAD layouts later I drove to his so-called one-man workshop with a CNC machine to see my new top. When I arrived, my jaw dropped. A one-man shop, huge facility with his various tables, and sitting on top of a Japanese-built CNC machine costing several $million. Not only that, but he'd made the top for me in 1-inch laminated MDF. Brilliant. Now, then the construction began, as always with me. Yes, ridiculously heavy construction. 7/8 birch ply drawers with 3/4 inch sides from Habitat. Bottoms low-cost laminated MDF sheets used for packaging laminated flooring. The whole construction was made mainly using Craig pocket holes, easily using the Foreman and some dominoes. The drawers were a mix of Stanton and J. Bates. The fronts were finally finished off with Stanton draw pulls, but with 7/8 holes to accommodate my stubby fingers. I'll make wooden dowels as future supports for whatever I need. I should mention that Tom uses thicker MDF for his top, which he counterbores. This allows the Festool clamps, etc. to be used. I've bought some T-Track as potential add-on, but not sure where to put them just yet. The whole unit is 73 by 43 by 34 inch matched to the saw. I'm using quick release plates and casters should I need to move it. This sucker is heavy though, with a couple of storage pockets and edge clamping pockets built into the tables. It's really nice to use the classic Stanton verbiage. I love it, love it. Now how good is that? There were some painful screw-ups, however, along the way. Miter slots cut too deep. A misstart from a miter saw that cut that produced an overshoot, and much abusive language. And the remarkable discovery that Forstner bits really don't like trying to go through screws on the other side of the drawer fronts. No idea, but I think I ruined 3 in the process. A little over the top maybe, but I like the workshop to be easy on the eye and a pleasure to be in. Now, as regards to computers and transferring photos in correct order, that's another story. But I think you can figure out the timeline. Using the chamfering tool on the top was sure made a whole lot easier with a wooden clamp, which I discovered that sooner than halfway through the top process. From hard work, it became a small finger process. The last photo is a few shots of Tom's one-man shop. Keep up the good work, and sorry for the size of this. All the best. Well, Stuart, thank you so much for that, and I'm sure everyone here has been very happy to see all of this, and I'll switch back to me here. What do you think of that? People are still talking about batteries there. Excellent. Okay, so Stuart's done an amazing job with that. I look at these things and it makes me feel really good when people see the things that I make and that other people make around the internet, and they expand on it, and they just suit their own purpose. Now that laminated top that's got the laminate on, that's a great idea. And each one of those, there's little pockets there for pencils to go in. I'd be a bit concerned if I'm pushing some timber through and I've got a pencil that's sticking up out of that and I'm halfway, oh damn, I've got to get rid of that pencil out of the way. But how nice is that? Don't you reckon it's a great job? Round of applause for Stuart. Ha! Give him some hoots in the comments there. He'd love to see it. All right, what's the next thing we're going to do? Down to there, down to there. So I'm going to tick off a couple of things as we're going. That is. So Ray Jones, we've done. The prizes coming up, I've mentioned all of that. Stuart Cotterill's outfeed table. Discussed the pros and cons of the Sorby linisher and the Tormek. Now, the whole thing with a Tormek, it's designed on an old-fashioned principle of a round grinding wheel being turned, and that's how you created the edge with steel. Now, they didn't have linishing flat belts that could spin very fast and go down to 3,000 grit per inch. That just wasn't heard of back in the olden days. Now, the Tormeks are beautiful. Don't get me wrong. They're nice slow speed, and for people that want that kind of degree, it's fantastic. But the thing is, all of the chisels, I should say, absolutely all of the chisels, the bench chisels that come out of Sorby's factory, and they're the largest manufacturer of turning tools, if you weren't aware. Well, their chisels, they're a flat grind. They do it on a linisher in the factory. And so they were saying, why put a hollow grind, which is going to have a weaker tip on the point, because the steel's not as thick as it's there. So with a flat grind, let's see if I can do it this way, you've just got this section. With a hollow grind, you're doing this. And so it's very sharp at the point, but it's very thin there as well. What are your thoughts? Throw them up. I'm not going to address that much, but I'd love to see it in the chat box at the side, because this is all kept at the end of the stream. And if people are watching this as a recording, you can have a look. You can just turn the live stream chat section on, and it will show you all of the comment that's been made. So curious, very, very curious. Sometimes we just follow along, and a lot of us will follow along with a grinding wheel. Like I've got a grinding wheel on my bench over there, and I've always used that ever since I was an apprentice. And I thought, well, why should I do anything different? Well, the Tormek is fantastic for keeping things cool. It stops the temperature increasing in the steel, so you don't bugger up the hardening or the temper. And the Sorby stuff, they use types of belts that don't really generate too much heat in them either. So they're already ground to a certain thing. You're not going to be changing the angle because you haven't got it quite right on the wheel. So they've got a set angle plate that you adjust to whatever angle you need. So you're not going to be reshaping it really. You're going to be maintaining it. What do you reckon? Okay, so we chat about that. That one, Patreon, I've had a chat about that. Hornsby Men's Shed, Bob Macca, Aftermarket Batteries, Grahame Ormesher. I think the last thing we've got is the chisels, and to let you know who won the Parf Guide system. Should I make you wait? Of course I should. I'm a terrible person, aren't I? Hang around, hang around. Okay. Unless, of course, you're watching the recording and then you just go to the end. But you might miss it. I might say it halfway through this next section. I think I will. I think I will. I'm not going to wait till the end. I'm going to do some sharpening. I'll mention the name halfway through and I'll keep sharpening. Or maybe I'll do it at the beginning. You can't tell, can you? So here we go. I'm going to switch over to the other camera. Well, I'll bring the other camera down first so you don't have to get seasick with me bringing it down there. And if I put that one there, I can turn the other camera on in the background so you don't see it, and then I can get it sorted. Whoop, you can see the camera coming into view, like a Dalek. Now, with this particular section, I'm going to have that right there where it's going to be right on the work. There we go. I'm going to read a little bit from Stephen there as well. Not all that hollow, I think, on the Tormek given the wheel diameter. If you let, when finally set up mine, don't hold your breath. I also have a bench grinder set up for speedy sharpening. All right, what we're going to do now is we're going to have a look at these chisels. Now, these are my crappy old no-name chisels. I don't know. I bought this set in a box for about $40. So, you know, they're not high quality, but they've lasted me for a long time. Now, you see on the back here, there's a whole lot of cross-hatching. Now, what happened was I never really put too much effort into cleaning up the back of a chisel. I always thought that a chisel from the factory was pretty good on the back, but I was wrong. So here we go. Yeah, Dalek puppeteering. Now you'll see on this one, on one side, I haven't quite got there. See on this point, got to be careful not to cut myself. I haven't quite got there, so I need to bring it down a little bit more. And also in the center, I don't mind that it's hollower in the center, because that means I don't have to sharpen as much. Now all I'm doing is I'm using the extra coarse diamond that Matt got for me. It was very generous of him to do that. And a little bit of water, not a lot. And well, it's obvious what I'm doing. I'm doing both sides. Have you noticed that? Takes you a while to get used to it, but you can do it. Now, if this was a whetstone, Japanese water stone or an oil stone, this would be a great thing to do because you're working the stone evenly. Now at the back here, I'm just supporting a little bit with my hand. I don't know if you can see that. They look like Fat Max chisels. I don't know what they are. They're I've had these things for 25 years. I don't know if Fat Max was around. I could get the box out and have a look. You know, I'm so close. Can you see it? Just that tip here. If I move, you can see it's just not reflecting in the corner there. I think we're nearly there. So I have all of these chisels out for me to work on. As I say, I'm there, you know, I've got it. So that's flat right up to the corner. Beautiful. Okay. Now I'm going to turn the stone that way, and you'll notice on the back how abused these chisels have been. Now that doesn't concern me too much, although I probably will take it off. A little bit of water on it. A bit more on there. I'm going to clean that off. Look at that coming off on the stone. Now here's something to think about. If you do use a linishing belt to sharpen a chisel, let's come up. Didn't take long, did it? You will need to have this side clean as well, because it will rest on the guide on the table in front of the linishing belt on the back, on that side. So little dags are going to be reflected in how you get a 90 degree here, or whether or not you maintain it. So I think that's very, very nice. Now your Sheffields look like this. What, like that chisel, or how dirty they are? That's exactly right. There are so many different ways of cleaning, or of sharpening. I'm going to take this out, give it a quick wash. I love this little diamond stone. Thank you so much, Matt, for getting it for me. Now, what I do on here to find out where the angle, if I'm doing it freehand, is I put it on its back and I raise it up until the water pushes away. There it is. See that? And then I maintain that angle. Oop. If I can. It's not holding down as well. Give me a second. I have an answer for that. I've got this, which is my bench hook, which I used the other day as a what I could use a shooting board. Yeah. Now hopefully this is going to work. This is one of those times where I haven't practiced. There we go. Figure 8. Look at that. That's bringing up a very nice, even edge. I love it. And I'm going to flip her over to the coarse side. So I've gone from extra coarse to coarse. Who wants to know who the winner is? If your name is Darren and you live in Australia, you're the winner. Now you watch, all of the international viewers are going to disappear. So Darren, and I don't know what your surname is because you didn't put it in there. I think it's more because the email had that in it with some other things. Nearly there. Going to work it around a little. that's looking pretty good. I'll do the other side now. Darren, I'm going to send you an email, and I'm also going to read a few of the things out. Oh, how sharp is that? And I'm only on course. I'll flip the camera around the other way. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. And I've got to move that other camera out of the way. Beep, 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 beep. There he's gone. Good. So I'll read those few things out. As I say, trying to mix the show up as much as I can for you guys. All right. There were hundreds. I'm going to tell you there were hundreds of entries. And there were so many. I don't know. Axminster Super Mortise gauge, as I don't have a proper gauge and it fits with my aim to work by hand. It'd be a really useful addition to my workshop. Bridge City MT2 pocket multi-tool. I'm making a stand and bench, need to drill the dog holes. Their vices look great. I asked everyone to have a look through the Axminster website and let me know what kind of things in there, tick the boxes for you. Kataba Japanese saw would be great for clean walled deep cuts. The Weha screwdriver sets sure looks like and would be useful. Tape measure is number 1. Rider number 60.5 deluxe block plane. Oh, I'll let you know. Axminster have been very excited about doing this giveaway, and I'm sure they're going to do more with us further down the track. And they're sending me over a couple of planes. How nice is that? So they're sending me over a low angle block and a low angle 5.5, I think, a couple of rider planes. Now, I have read through different reviews on these planes, and some people like them, some people don't. I'm going to use one. I'm going to have a play around with and use them, and I'm sure I will probably have to sharpen the blade out of the box. Most of the people I've seen the reviews, they've said they had to do that. We'll see what happens, but it'd be interesting to see what happens there. Maybe when I've done the review and put it out there, they might flick one over to us to do us a giveaway as well. So how would you like that? Keep on coming back. It's always a good idea. You never know what's going to happen. All right, now, who's the person that won? It was Darren, and his comment was, the UK trammel set would allow me to create curves in wood to match those of my beautiful wife. Now, he's made some other comments because he entered a couple of times. I'm not going to read the other comments out because I thought, why would you start there and start going downhill, Darren? I think that was a lovely comment. I think that might do us, guys. Let me have a look here. Remember, click the show more in the below this video and it will expand everything. You'll see how to enter the competition for the GRS16. For people who don't know what a GRS16, it is the guide that holds a track for a track saw, and it holds it perfectly square. Have a look back through the videos I've done. I did a video on it, and TSO products have been fantastic supplying this for this week's competition. And remember, the week after that, it's going to be Jessem's chance to have a go, and they're giving us a set of clear-cut stock guides to give away. So keep on coming back. I shall see everyone next week. I don't know if I'm going to get a video out next week because I've got this machine I'm still building, and this week was a very short week for me. I couldn't get to it. So I will plod along and I'll get something out if I can. But if I don't panic. I'm still here. With the live show will always go ahead. But the build out there is taking me a while because I need to get my head around it at the same time. But as it's going, I'll tell you what, it's dead easy after the fact. And that's why I'm doing this video, so you guys can watch and you'll be able to build one of these things in your sleep. Okay, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I shall see everyone next time. And if you want to, you can check the other channel. And this week, I threw up a 20-minute video of my granddaughter belly dancing at a local carnival that was here yesterday up at Katoomba, winter solstice. It wasn't really the solstice that they had. It was cancelled this year, but all of the trips were ready to go, so what the hell. They went and did the dancing anyway. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. I'll see you next time.